let's review some complete the square problems, and then you can finish this worksheet that you started yesterday. So let's look at x squared minus 10x minus 24 equals 0. Now, I could factor this to find the roots, which would probably be easier, but we're practicing completing the square because we need that skill later on. So the first step is to move the 24 over, so I add it. And now I have x squared minus 10x. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap to put a number in there, equals 24. What number am I going to add inside that open space? And how do you get 25? You take negative 10 and divide it by 2. And that goes inside the perfect square. And then negative 5 times negative 5 is plus 25. So I add 25 to both sides, and it gives me 49. Now what do I do? Square root x minus 5 equals plus or minus 7. Now I add 5, and my answers are negative 2 and 12. Sorry, did I lose you? The square root of 49 is 7. Okay? All right. We're going to do one that still has a nice answer, but the problem working through is much more difficult. Yeah. So the 2, uh-oh, it disappeared. It's gone. So here's where I got my answers. 7 plus 5 and negative 7 plus 5. All right. X squared minus, now let's do plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So I need to move the 6 over using subtraction. X squared plus 5x equals negative 6. Uh-oh. I have a problem. Every problem we did yesterday, that middle number was even, which means when you divided it by 2, you got another whole number. But today, we're going to work one problem where it's not even. The good news is, on your worksheet, they're all even. But I just want to show you this in case you run into it on the ACT or something. The worst thing you can do is try to solve this using decimals. So I don't want to do x plus 2.5. I want to leave it in fraction form because it's way easier. What is half of 5 in fraction form? 5 over 2. The reason you want to leave it in fraction form is it's really easy to square a fraction. What is 5 halves squared? Well, 5 times 5 is 25 divided by 2 times 2 is 4. So we're going to add 25 fourths. Okay. Do that again. Do that again. No, she slapped herself. I heard it from here. Okay. So, negative 6 plus 25 fourths. Oh, I don't want to do that. Negative 6 plus 25 fourths. Let's try that again. Negative 6 plus 25 fourths, math fraction, is 1/4. Well, 1/4 is really nice because 1 is a perfect square and 4 is a perfect square. So we wanted to keep it in fraction form. If I got 0.25 here, then you might not notice that it's made up of two perfect squares. If you end up with something like 81/25ths, that's good, because both the top and the bottom are perfect squares. So we square root the top and the bottom, and I get x plus 5/2 equals plus or minus 1. What's the square root of 4? 2. 1/2. Now I subtract 5/2. And this is really easy to do. What is 1/2 minus 5/2? -4/2, which is equal to -2. That's one answer. What is -1/2 minus 5/2? -6/2, which equals -3. You always simplify fractions. Always. Yeah. Okay? Now, luckily, there aren't any of those on your worksheet. But there are others on your worksheet that are also tough. So we'll just make one up. Somebody give me a number. Ooh, let's not do 7. Give me an even number. How about +12? That's okay. Give me a negative number now. -3. Okay, we'll run with it. Now, does this one factor? Are there two numbers that multiply to be 3 to add to be 12? No. So we know that either the answer has square roots in it, or the answer is imaginary. But I know that the answer is not imaginary because it hits the y-axis at -3. And it's an up parabola. So it's got to have real roots. The only time you have imaginary is if this number is big enough to lift the graph above the x-axis. And you can't really look at it and tell if it has imaginary. So x squared plus 12x equals 3. What number goes in here? 6. And what number goes here? 36. 36. So equals 39. Sorry, I did that really fast. Do we follow? Well, I added 36 here, so I had to add 36 there, and those two make 39. It's okay. You had a rough day yesterday, so. What month were you born? Okay, so I square root. What is the square root of 39? Well, 3 and 13. 13's prime, what can we pull out? Nothing. So we end up with x plus 6 equals plus or minus root 39. Yeah. Okay. What do I do from here? -6. Well, how do you subtract a number from a square root? You don't. And when we write them in order, square roots always come last. So the answer is x equals -6 plus or minus root 39. If the square root simplify, you need to, and we just happen to pick one that didn't. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this one will work. We move this 47 over. X squared minus 10x equals positive 47. So what goes in my perfect square? It's 5. So I'm going to add 27 or 25 to both sides. What's 47 and 25? 72. Everybody okay up to that point? Now we square root. And we get x minus 5 equals plus or minus, well, 72 is going to simplify. So 8 and 9, 2, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. What can I pull out? A 2 and a 3, so a 6. So 6 root 2. Now when I add the 5 to the other side, I get x equals 5 plus or minus 6 root 2. What if we have what? Oh, okay. So let's do another one. Let's do like negative 14x equals negative x squared plus minus 20. That might not be big enough. Let's do something bigger. Minus 85. All right. This is all mixed up. So what do I need this to look like in order to complete the square? I want my x squared over here. I want my x there. Where do I want my number? Well, if I move the 85 over here, then I need to move it back over to complete the square. So I might as well leave the negative 85 where it is. If you do move it over, that's okay. You're just going to move it back on your next step. So we'll add x squared. So this will be minus 14x, not xx, equals negative 85. Okay? So what's going to go in my perfect square? Minus 7. So what do I add to both sides? Wait, what, Jordan? Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, call me Jordan. Okay? Well, this is a bit of a problem. What is negative 85 plus 49? Negative 36. Oh man, what a perfect problem. So now we square root, and I get x minus 7 equals plus or minus 6i. Because it's a negative. So now when I add 7, my answers are 7 plus or minus 6i. Which means what? Yes, you always put real numbers and then imaginary numbers. What do we know about this graph? It has imaginary roots, which means, so if my roots are plus or minus, or 7 plus or minus 6i, the graph is going to miss the x-axis. And actually, if you were to take the graph and mirror it in the other direction, the roots would be the same roots you see here without the I. So 7 plus 6 is 13, and 7 minus 6 will be 1. So actually, the graph looks like this. Where this would be 13, and this would be 1. I don't know. Let's see. No. So if you get imaginary roots, you know that the graph is above the x-axis. And if you want to know exactly where it is, erase the I and add the root together, and you'll get those two roots. And the imaginary portion is the reflection of the portion that would hit 1 and 13, if that matters to you. What happens if I get something like x plus 7 equals negative 84. Oh, squared. So we're going to square root x plus 7. What goes into 84? 12 and 7, 4 and 3, 2 and 2. Can I pull anything out? 2 root 21, so equals plus or minus 2I root 21. So my answer would be negative 7 plus or minus 2I root 21. Yes, Sadie. Oh, good. Yeah, so 83 is prime. It has no factors. So all you can do is take out an I. Somebody's been working on problem number 1. Oh. In the first problem, you have something like negative 87. Well, 87 is the product of 29 and 3, and you can't pull anything out. So you end up with I root 87. Okay.